Yeah, Nikhil, I have started the recording. You can continue.
Sure, sir. Hello. Hey, hi, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Hey, hi. So, should we wait for any more people, or is this all like we have 6 people, I guess, right? Srikant, sir, should we wait for anyone,
No,
or
just
should we
start
start?
the session.
Okay, sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just allow me a minute. Let me share my screen. So today we'll discuss about Linux basics commands. So how many of you are having understanding on basic Linux? So does anyone have any basic understanding on Linux? What is Linux? Like, why do we use Linux?
We don't have any idea, just we'll go browsing the videos, that's it.
Okay, fine. So Linux, basically Linux servers is the most predominant. It's the most predominantly widely used servers in any software industry because it's very easy to by using CMP, it's very easy to access. So mostly all the software companies they try to have Linux servers itself. So today we'll see some basics commands for Linux. So it's very basic, like if you after log, so you guys know how to log into EC2 server, right? EC2 instance, AWS instance.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah. So what are the commands that you ran after logging to EC2 instance?
To check, just we had up to now we had gone to how to log in by using this Linux commands, as well as to check whatever we have installed its operating systems to test whether that operating system is, for example, if you have selected the operating system 64 or 32-bit, so some using some commands we'll check that. Up to now, that's it.
Okay. So which Linux server did you which Linux EC2 instance you created?
Yeah, CentOS yes, I'm using right now.
No, which server, like which flavor of Linux you have created?
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu. Okay. So apart
AWS
from
Linux.
yes,
I think.
AWS. Okay. Anyone else different Linux flavors? So you guys are aware of different Linux flavors, right?
Yeah.
So we have Ubuntu, we have RHEL, it's called Red Hat. We have CentOS. All right. So we will be having different flavors. So basically, the one which we are using is Ubuntu in our project. So I'll show you the basic commands which we use. Okay, just wait a second. Share my screen. Just one second. Is my screen visible, right?
Yes, we can able.
Yes. So I have installed subsystem Linux as in my Windows laptop, just for practice purpose. So basically, I'm having an Windows machine. So I've installed an subsystem Linux where I can practice my Linux commands. So now once I put this command WSL, there will be like inbuilt, there will be one small Ubuntu will be running. So I can log into there. So before going to this one, like you have to install your EC2 instance, right? So what are the commands that you use to log into an to that particular instance? You will be giving username, right?
Yeah, we will give SS by SSH hyphen I
Okay.
key file pen file and the
Okay.
user, and we will give the address of which location we are, and we will give the ID of that to log in.
Okay. So you will be using some username. So basically, suppose if it is an Amazon Linux, what is the username that you will be giving? Got the question?
Yeah, Amazon Linux I didn't use, but I use Ubuntu, so I give username as a Ubuntu.
Ubuntu, yes. So basically, Ubuntu is a username which you are logging in as, right? So if you
Yeah,
don't give Ubuntu, what will happen? You won't be able to log in,
I,
right?
yeah, we are not able to log in.
So similarly, we need to have a user in the system before logging into that server. Understood? Suppose if
Yeah,
Imran or Darshan, your name is not there, your SH keys were not there in the particular server, you won't be able to log into that server.
yeah, that's
Okay. So for that, we'll be having particular commands called user add commands. Okay. I mean, I will go in detail. Like I'm just telling you like what is a use case scenario and why the commands are getting used. Okay. Suppose I got an ticket saying like, so this is my new teammate and you need to create a user in Linux server. So then we'll be using this permissions, these commands to add an user to a Linux server. We'll add user, suppose it is user add Imran. So we'll add user add space Imran. So now Imran user will be created. Then we'll set a password for it. Then if you go in depth, we'll be having certain kind of sudoers file where we'll be giving the permissions to the particular user, where this user will be having a root access. You know what root access is? Anyone, any idea what is root access?
so. Please,
When we create the instance, we get the default username as a root like that.
Okay. So
like,
basically, Wasim, you have created which Linux server? Which flavor of Linux?
No, no, actually, yesterday we gone through the Linux instance, creating the Linux
Yes,
instance.
which Linux
So
is
I did not
Amazon Linux or
personally.
okay, fine, fine. So basically,
I
for
think it's Amazon Linux.
Mhm. So how about the other people, Vidya Sai, Gayatri, Darshan? Do you guys get a chance to create a Linux server? I mean, it will be good if we have some active participation and like questions to and fro.
so yeah, just couple of minutes earlier, you told that we have to create a user, right?
Yes,
For for the access of the instance. Here
yes.
I'm having one doubt right now.
Mhm.
Like the user to create after creation of instance in itself or before that.
So basically, by default, one user will be created. Suppose if you're launching an
Yeah,
Ubuntu server, by default, this
yeah,
Ubuntu will be giving an one user for you. It is called where you should,
yeah, fine.
because simply can't log in, right? You will be having an username. So you can log in by using Ubuntu user. That is called,
Yeah,
that is all default user. So we
yeah.
can't say
Um,
default user will be having all the level of permissions, mostly.
mm,
So it's very dangerous to give all the level of permissions across all the team members, right? See, why should you give the delete permissions for everyone? You don't need to give it, right? So
yeah,
that's why what we do, we will add particular, suppose if there is an DB team, database team, what we do, we'll add all this database team into one group and we'll add all the usernames under this group, under database team. Then what we'll do, we'll give only the read-only permissions. Means this person, whatever commands he'll run, he will only can be see the data. He can't even delete the data. So that is a level of restrictions where we keep to the users. Okay.
like I have some experience of before, like on Windows. So as of that idea, I'm asking you one question, right? It's
Yes,
just
yes.
a query from my side. Like we have local users as well as domain users, right?
Sorry, come again.
We have local users as well as domain users.
Okay.
So what we do when we create the domain users, we are giving access to them, and we are creating some profiles as well as some. We are giving some uh, we create group for them as well as policies will provide to them. Right. Now
Yes.
I has created one instance. I had created one instance, and by default I get one instance of one user which is having root privileges.
Okay.
And by using that user, I am logging into that instance. Once I log into that instance, so now if I, as you told that we have to create some accounts for the database team.
Yes.
So those accounts should be created in AWS account, or it has to be created in that particular instance which we have created.
Yeah, basically here your question falls under two categories. So one thing is
Yeah.
like unless until you have access to your AWS, right?
Yeah.
You won't be able to access the instance in the first place.
Okay.
Okay, or else suppose I can do one more thing. Without this AWS access also, we can take the key SSH keys of this particular person and we can paste it in our gem box or whatever mission which you are going to give access to. Then this person can access this particular server. So what we do, suppose if it is Imran, I don't need to give an AWS access for you. I'll only give the access for your AWS EC2 instance.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Yeah.
I'll take your key and I'll paste your key on that particular server. So from your local machine, if you put your username and your IP of that particular server, you can straight away you can log in without even having access to your AWS account.
Okay. That's clear. It's clear.
Okay. Uh, so now we have user add. So now users related, like we have user add, user del. User del means user delete. I mean I'll show you all those commands in server, but we'll go with the flow. Why we need to have users, and then like what is like suppose you have an EC2 server or any server in the per se. So you guys know about CPU, right? CPU, like what is CPU and what is RAM, what is memory. You're aware of it, right?
Yeah. We have. Yeah.
Similarly, like if you take a phone, it says like what do you say, like 8 GB RAM, right? And 256
Yeah.
GB. So similarly, for EC2 instance or any computer, we'll be having similar kind of specifications. We have CPU, we have RAM, and we have some disk space on that. So we need to know the commands. Why we need to know the commands? How to check the CPU utilization, how to check the memory utilization, and how to check the disk utilization of a particular server. Because suppose you have created an EC2 instance and you have hosted an application on top of EC2 instance. Now this application is running very good, and but the logs are generating continuously. So what happens if you generate the logs continuously? Obviously, the space in your server gets occupied, right? As because your logs are generating, your disk space will be full at one point of time. Now what will happen? Once your disk space is full, your application won't be running anymore because it doesn't have the certain memory or CPU to run your application. So now there's a high chance of crashing your application. Now what we'll do as an DevOps engineer, we'll get a ticket created for you saying like, was the CPU utilization has breached 80% of your server. Suppose if I take 256 GB of my machine, and like we'll be setting some alerts for it because you need to monitor, right, or else your application will go down. So I'll put like two types of alerts. One is basic threshold, another is trouble threshold. So basic threshold means like whenever my disk crosses somewhere around 75%, I will automate a notification to all users saying like the CPU utilization or memory utilization or disk utilization has reached more than 75%. Then I'll set one more alert, trouble alert or critical alert, where I'll set like after 90%. See, if it's not treated at 75%, then it should be treated at 90%, right? Or else it's not, the system get crashed. So I will be setting another alert at 90%. So in order to check the CPU memory and disk utilization, you need to know the basic commands like what does ps-ef do, what does ps-aux2, and what does top command do, what does htop command do, and what will you see from free-m, and how to see the disk utilization. Like we have df-h, disk free space, and disk usage, du-sh. So these are some common commands where you will be using all these commands in order to see the utilization. So am I clear till now? Any questions?
No, we are good.
Yeah, you're clear.
Okay. So basically, unless until you know these commands, you won't be able to act or take a decision on which file you need to delete. Right. So basically, if you are having hundreds of files in your system, like all 1 GB, 2 GB log files, so you know there will be some logs will be generating in your server. But unless until you have this expertise to see where my logs are there, to navigate to a particular folder, or where my logs are generating and which file should I delete, you won't. That is called hands-on experience, right? So basically, like to remove any file on Linux, we use rm-rf. Rm means remove. So these are some commands which will be helpful for you in day-to-day activities. And then coming to Linux. So these are the basic commands, and we'll be speaking about some commands like touch, where touch commands helps to create a new file. Okay, and we'll be using some command called cat. Cat is a command where you can use it
To open.
read a file. You don't need to. So without doing anything, if you put cat and give file name, you can read that particular file basically. Okay, and then the common commands. So yeah, so these are things, and there's something called monitoring or observability side. So I said, right, you need to configure these thresholds. So all you are new to AWS, or is anyone working before, or do you have any experience in software industry?
We are new to AWS.
So you have any other expertise? Any other working
Yeah,
experience?
as a Windows admin and network admin.
For Windows admin, fine. How about you, Wasim? Is not there. Darshan,
I'm also new to this AWS.
Yeah, I'm
So
too.
I have
any other experience you have, Wasim?
in Citrix admin.
Ethics admin, great. How about you, Gayatri?
No, not yet. I don't have any experience.
Okay, no
I'm
problem.
very new.
So basically, you just started your learning, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How about you, Vidyasai? Hello, Vidyasai, you there? Okay, no problem. So basically, people who has kind of experience as Windows admin, and Citrix admin, so you will be knowing, right, what is use of monitoring.
Yep.
So unless until you monitor your servers, you won't be able to make these servers 100% available. So that's the main point. We need to have some kind of monitoring tool. So today we'll discuss about this monitoring tool, and I will show you some real-time monitoring tools which we have configured in real time for my project. Okay, so basically, we'll be having two types of monitoring tools. One is AWS native tools, and another one is third-party tools. Okay,
Yeah,
so for
can,
me, yeah,
can I say something? Like I am from very basic level. The
okay,
terminology you are using, I cannot catch those. So
okay,
can you
okay,
make it so simpler?
sure, sure,
Yeah, thank.
fine. So basically, to monitoring is nothing but like how is your system working. So basically, if you have your mobile in your hand, right? So how is your so suppose if you open many apps, will your phone get slow or not? Obviously, it will be getting slow because it occupies most of the CPU as running processes. Got it? So that's why we need to have a monitoring tool. So unless until suppose if you take phone as example, what will you do if you have all your storage filled? Suppose if you have 10 GB of external hard disk one, if 10 GB is filled, what will do? What will happen? You won't. Yeah.
Phone will crash and it will not perform as it was
Yes.
to.
Will
So you
get
won't be
slowed
able.
down.
Yes, slow down. You won't be able to install new things. You won't be having any. You can't do anything, right? It gets crashed automatically, restart automatically. Something will be done. So similarly, you assume the same thing for an EC2 instance or any server, basically. Okay. So for EC2 server also, you need to have some kind of monitoring because you don't know, right? If the CPU of a particular server, if it reaches more than 90%, obviously it will get crashed and we will be having escalation, saying like the application which is there in this particular server is crashed and we are not able to open this application. So that's why in order to make things easy, we have this monitoring. As I said, AWS native means the tools which AWS create. So when you open AWS console, you will be seeing easy to write Elastic Cloud Compute. So it is an
Yeah.
AWS. We have RDS, which is called database, relational database. And similarly, for monitoring purpose, we will be having CloudWatch, where all these things will be slowly discussed with Srikanth sir for you while in the ongoing classes. It's called CloudWatch. So CloudWatch, what does it do means? It will give all the related metrics, the metrics which are available for a server. It will show you in a dashboard form. See, Linux server, I'll just show you. It's better, I think, to give some. 1 second. See my screen, right?
Mm.
Okay, login. So the one which I'm going to show is a third-party tool to monitor all the EC2 servers. I'll just show you like why it is important and how the thresholds will be configured. But all these things will be detailedly explained to you in the future classes. Okay.
Just one small question. I don't know whether I have to ask it or not.
Yeah, go ahead.
As Srikanth sir told us about the EC2,
Mhm.
he specified some basic thing, like why we call it as an EC2, or because Elastic Compute Cloud.
Mhm.
So, yani, I understand in that manner that when it reaches to its peak point, it will default or automatically it will increase its computing CPUs or something like that. It will do itself, or we have to do manually for that.
Kamal, what is your question about EC2? I didn't quite get it. Can you please repeat that again?
Yeah. So while teaching about EC2, while
Mhm.
explaining about the EC2, Srikanth sir told us the Elastic Compute Cloud.
Yes.
And we said that the elastic means we can expand and we can decrease the CPUs.
Yes.
Yeah, fine. Now, as you informed us, like when it reaches to the peak point or it start to the deviation.
Mhm.
So we have to do it, or the instant itself will select the CPUs. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I got your question.
yeah,
See, your question is very valid one. It's very good question basically. So AWS EC2, while creating your EC2 instance, we will be defining what is the instance type, right? T2.log, T3.log, T2.micro. Have you gone through that step?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So why is the reason like we select how many CPUs we want? Because we know like how much performance will this server needs. Like how much performance, basically suppose I'll give you one basic example. Okay. So I have a client where the client is having an application should be kept inside the EC2 server. So he wants it to run continuously without any disturbances. So what
yeah,
I won't take a T2.micro because I know it is having a very basic configuration. It will be having
yeah.
CPU and two
Just you and 30 GB RAM.
yeah.
Sorry, 30 GB hard disk, one
Yes.
GB RAM.
Yes, one GB RAM. So I don't take it. I don't take it into consideration at all. So what I will do, I'll see the list of EC2 instances with at least minimum 8 CPU and 16 GB RAM. Then only my application will run. So whenever you get this kind of doubt or with this kind of tickets, they will clearly mention what is their specification. Usually you don't you don't decide. The developer will only ask you how many CPUs or how many RAM that they want to that is required to host an application. Then you will go and see in the drop down. Okay, suppose if you say eight CPU, then if you go and see like R5.x large or R6.x large, whatever the configuration matches to it, that we will be doing it. And answering to your question, basically it won't expand it automatically. Suppose initially I started with t2.micro. Then I see it's not working out. Then what we'll do is we can change the configuration immediately. If it's going to crash, there is an option called to change the instance type on the fly. There is no need to stop it, delete it, or anything. We can change the instance on the fly.
Okay.
Hope I answered your question, right?
Yeah, yeah. So we have to do it manually. We cannot write any script on that to do it
No.
automated.
No, there won't be any
Okay.
script for it because here the cost is involved, right?
Okay, yeah.
See, if the cost is involved, there is no point of writing a script, and it won't. For your question, there is one more answer for us. Like why you want to? So what you were thinking like to get the CPU expanded automatically, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
called
that's true. Yeah, yeah,
that's
that is
called
my question.
that's called horizontal scaling. So depending upon the load, you want to get it expanded.
Yeah.
There is one concept called auto scaling. Auto scaling will do. It will suppose if you have one server, so if it hits 80% of my CPU before it reaching to 100%, it will create one more CPU, one more EC2 instance automatically.
Yeah.
Okay, and then if the my CPU comes down to 50%, it will delete the particular newly created server automatically. That is called auto scaling. Depending upon your server load, it goes and create n number of instances. How much you define in your configuration, it will create n number of instances like that. Suppose on a Friday evening, the server load will peak for any e-commerce site, Friday evening or Saturday evening. So what I will define, so my currently which is running 20 server, which is running for that particular application, I will feel 20 servers is not suitable figure because it will definitely crash if I put 20 servers. Suppose if you take a India-Pakistan match. Uh, so obviously if it is hosted on Sunday, India-Pakistan match, definitely there will be 8 crore people or 10 crore people will be seeing it. So the 20 server which is there, it's not enough to handle this particular load. What I'll put it at least to 60 servers. So that everyone who logs into this any app, Geo, Hotstar app, anything, they will be having continuous live stream without any hindrance. I mean, without any pause or without any buffering kind of thing, they should be able to see it. Why you will be getting buffering? Suppose if I say like previously you could have experienced this one for World Cup or something like that. Immediately when you open Hotstar app or Geo, I think Geo one. When you open Geo to watch this live cricket match, it gets stuck and it gets refreshed automatically, restart automatically. Because the servers in there in the backend, it is not able to handle that load. That's why it's not able to give you that particular data to you continuously. If I expand the number of servers, obviously it doesn't matter 8 crore or 10 crore or 100 crore. Everyone will be having they will be getting the live stream properly. This is what is called auto scaling, which will be discussed by Vikans in the future classes.
Okay.
But clarity, I guess, right? How this is expanded and all.
Yeah, once I go through, I will clear all those things. So because even still now I have doubts. So because like we've seen some videos regarding this different series of instance,
Sorry, different.
a series of instance like a series, M series.
Okay, that is a completely different concept. A for AMD series.
So in that there is some ARM-based workload. In that it will decide the CPUs itself. They will take how many CPUs they want. Once the load is decreased, it will scalability will be there for that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I got a question here regarding that.
No. Automatically, it will never auto
Okay.
scale is a separate concept where you need to
Oh,
define your load and everything. It will create a new servers automatically.
oh, fine.
Okay.
As of now, it's
And
okay. Fine.
there is one more thing which I can answer. There is one more concept called CPU burst mode. What does the
Okay.
CPU burst mode is? If your CPU is having uh, four CPU, so four CPU, and suppose if your server is not getting all these four CPUs used, what it will do is it will give you some credits, which is a concept in AWS. It will give some credits, like okay, Imran or someone he doesn't use the four CPUs which he is paying money for. He's using only two CPUs. Let him give 10 credits because he's not using it, and you will be continuously accumulating all these credits. And when suppose on fine day, if your server is having a too much load, instead of 4 CPUs, you need 8 CPUs kind of performance. Then it will burst all the CPUs, which has been the credits will be there, right? It will burn all the credits and it will give you 8 CPU performance for you until your
Okay.
credits gets exhausted. That is one more concept in
Yes.
CPU bustable mode, we'll say. Got it, right?
Yeah. Sorry, guys, if you don't understand it. Just I ask for my clarity. That's it.
Okay, now I would like to show you this monitoring tool. Okay, so the only reason like why I'm showing you the live monitoring tool, because I know definitely right now you won't be able to understand anything, but in the future classes it will definitely helpful for you. Okay, this is one thing which you already saw. Got it, right? So I will show you. Take one server. Suppose so. This is a basic dashboard. Okay, for any this called Site 24% is a monitoring tool. We have configured more than 333 servers in this monitoring tool. Okay, suppose if I take the server which is here, see you can see the availability is 43.5%, the CPU usage is 5.17%, memory is 18.3, disk utilization is 38%. Okay, so if I click on CPU, it will show you the graphical representation of your Linux server. So basically, how your Linux server is, suppose if it is this my Linux server, I'll put this one command which is used to see the running processes. ps-aux. It will show you all the running processes. See, I have a Python which is running here. It will show you like this. What are the different types of processes which are running? Everyone understand like so. I request you, everyone, like at least tomorrow, you just go and see like what process means. What is CPU? I mean, it's very helpful if you get the understanding of what is CPU, what is memory, this for a computer. This is a very basic thing, right? See, eventually, if you're going to work as a software engineer, this is a very basic thing which you should be knowing. Got it, right? So if I gave ps-off, this one Linux command, it will show you all the process related things. Similarly, the dashboard, it will also show the same thing. Because in Linux server, there is a command prompt. It will only show you like this. It won't show you any graphs or something like that. But if you go to monitoring, it will show all the graphs. So what is CPU utilization, how it is from last 1 hour, from last 24 hours. If you see here, there is something called 20, how it is from last 24 hours. You can see from yesterday how it is. See how it is last week, how it is last quarter. So you can get all the data. This is very useful to see like how your CPU was performing. As the question you asked, right? Whether I should increase my CPU or not. By seeing this utilization for last 7 days or for last 1 month, you can judge, okay, I need to extend my CPU. So the current CPU utilization is not meeting the expectations. So in order to reduce alerts, in order to stabilize this particular server, I need to go to the next I need to put 2 to 3 more CPUs extra. That's how we need to we'll think by using this dashboard. This is how you analyze the dashboards. If you go to the memory, you can see all the memory related metrics here, the dashboards. So if you go to disk, so if let me go to this one. The same thing I can see. Yeah, you got this one, right? How much of available size? What is the size of my disk? What is the availability of my disk? So where are these all these mount points and all? It will be explained detailedly in the future classes. And just showing you like if I put df-h, what it will be showing. What is the file system? What is the size? How much it is used? How much is available? On which directory it is mounted? Okay. So the same thing in a graphical view or in a what do you say? In a console without logging to server, you can see it in the third-party tools like Site24%. If you click on this one, it will show you. This is the graphical representation. Okay, it is available 56 free space 56% for this server. It's 46% available. Then you don't need to, there is no, so you can see here servers. See, now you can see earlier it was something different, now it is something different. It was 333 were up, 13 were down now. Able to see this one? Now 15 are down now. Able to see any questions till now? Why this is down? Why is this green color, red color? No
So
questions?
how many CPUs are running? How to check that?
Okay, fine. So suppose if I take a running server, so I can see the CPU utilization here. The average CPU utilization 22.2%. The maximum is 100, but my average 22.2%. Got it, right? So
So
I'm
here
having,
we,
yeah, this is on a dashboard, on a, what do you say, on a graphical representation. See, every minute you can get the metrics here. But if you go to the server, this is a dummy server which I'm using. We will be having command called top. See, these are the all the you can see here how many CPUs, what is the memory. I have 763 this like MAB memory, and this is a total memory. This is a free memory. What is a used memory? Got it, right? So here, if you see it is down, I can see like if in real time you will be seeing like this 100% utilized here or 90% utilized here. That's how you'll be seeing. Then you'll be using this ps-aux. Suppose here Python is there, right? You're able to see Python. Now it is consuming how much? 6.7% of my CPU. Now what I will do is ps-aux. Then I will be seeing whether this process is running or not. Yes, it is running. And then I will kill this process. Kill Python 3 or kill with my PID. So you can see PID here. PID user PR, right? There is something called PID here. I will take this PID 8505. This is a dummy account, so many of commands will not be working here because there is a subsystem of Linux. Not all the commands will be working here. Usually, we'll take the PID and we'll kill that particular process. That's how we'll kill. Once we kill this process, all the 6.7% will be free. Then system will be up and running. Any other questions? Hello. Hello.
yeah, no questions. We are clear.
Or else we can make this session interactive. You can ask like whatever doubts you will be having regarding like how the future.
See,
Once you
sorry
get,
to ask.
yes, yes.
Just now you showed me that what are the who is utilizing the process. So what are the applications utilizing the processor? We see that
Yes,
now, but we
yes.
didn't see how many processor are using by the instance.
Okay, that data. 1 second. I think it's. One second. I'll share my screen.
I remember that I saw one. So there is some command in the Linux
Yes,
like
yes. Let's head
ls.
stop. I'll show you my.
Yeah.
See, if you go to here, if you put H stop, so here clearly you can see there are my 7 processors which is running, and
Yeah,
amongst
that's great.
that,
Yeah.
we have one CPU which is having 2.6% utilization. We have second CPU. See, it's getting reduced and depending upon the load. Got it?
Yeah.
See,
Okay.
now it was initially 6.7. See, now Python, it is running only 0.7% of my utilization.
Like
So
what
this
is load actually?
so load is
Depends on
something,
load
but
means.
yeah, load is something, but now this system we're not. It's a dummy system, okay, which I've created in my uh, Windows server. Load is something like if I have application, how can I say? So in your mobile, if you open 10 applications at the same time, what will happen? It will be having some kind of load on your server, on your mobile phone, right? It gets heated or it gets running slow. Why it gets heated? Because it's not able to run all your 10 applications which you have opened in your mobile at a same time. So sometimes it will be running in the background. Though it will be running in background, it will be still open only, right?
Yeah, but how the does the load differ? Like it is in background, but
Yeah.
soon after we open, it will be getting opened, no? So
So
why is that change
yes.
happening?
So I'll ask you one question. So if you're opening Instagram and if you're opening YouTube, though you'll be switching to another app, but your app is open in the backend, right?
Yeah,
So at least it will be having internet connectivity. It will be at least though it is idle, it will be consuming some kind of your CPU, some part of your CPU to keep it active.
yeah,
That's why it's always advisable to close the which running apps in the background so that it can cause less load and it can release some used CPU and memory. Understood, right?
yeah. Understood. What I'm asking is, why is that difference showing? Like why it is getting down and up? If it is constant, then we can say something. Some amount of load is given, but in the screen, as I'm seeing, the load is differing.
Really? Okay, fine.
Background load is also differing. Why is that happening?
Did you able to see there's any difference in the load average? See, I have 8 CPU, 0, 1, 2, 3, 7 till 7, 8 CPU, okay, in my computer. So it depends upon the computer's program to distribute load to which CPU. That is only it's doing here. See, now the first CPU is taking 0.7, this one is taking 0.7, but my load average is still constant most of the time, 0.01.
It can distribute, but the average should be
Yes,
balanced.
yes. It depends upon the internal program whether to distribute the load to only single CPU or double CPU or all the CPUs. It depends upon the internal program, right? If I have 8 people, either I can give the load to one person, or I can give the load to 2 persons, or I can give the load to entire team, the 8 people, depending upon your manager, like how he wants to distribute the load to everyone. Similarly, we'll be having kind of program in our computers to distribute. Now, here, see, 6 CPU is having 2% of load, whereas you can see one third CPU is 0%. Now it's all 0% now. So
Yeah,
it depends upon the program which is running inside your computer. Got it, right?
yeah.
Okay. So next question. Any questions?
Okay, as you said in the initially, we get the alert if the CPU utilization is greater than 70% or 90%. So do we get the email or will get the any ticket for that?
Yeah. So basically, we'll be having a multiple triggering solutions. Okay. One thing is email, where you can configure your mail ID, and you will be getting the email. So let me reshare my screen again. So here, what's happening in my mailbox? If I see, it's all related to site info%. It's all related to my servers. So I'm getting an email notification here. So saying like this particular server is down, the monitor is down, and it will show you like why the monitor is down, what are the thresholds, and it will give the previous metrics before the monitor getting down. So this is one kind of alert where you will be getting via mail, and there is some kind of alerts where we will be configuring to get the phone calls to your number. The app which is called as pager duty, where if you see the similarly instead of getting an email, it will there is an automated trigger system where it will give you a phone call, or it will send you a message. It's called pager
Okay.
duty, where you will be, for critical systems only we'll configure those pager duty tools and all. For normal servers, there no need to configure such a high end this one, but there is a one tool called pager duty where you will be getting an phone calls, you're getting a normal text message saying like this server is down. You should act immediately and all. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Actually, why we have to use third-party tool when we are having some option in AWS, when we open this portal, AWS portal, and when we are creating the instance, then we are having one option called alarm.
Yes.
So that thing will not notify me when the CPU is like reaching to the peak point or something like that.
It will work on exactly the same way how your third party tool is working. Hello.
As the way the companies will spend
Exactly. The point is like whether the company is ready to spend money on bit more money on AWS side, or they want to save some money by using third party tools. So that's why usually like suppose if you want to buy an good Nike shoe or something like, but they're too costlier, it's not affordable. What do you say? Like it will go to the next best option, right? Not going to Nike. You'll go to some like.
But in this case, this is difference, I think. Why? Because when we are having that option in AWS two alarm options.
Hello.
Yeah,
Am I
hello.
audible?
Yeah,
Sorry.
you are audible.
Yeah, since I connected my VPN, it got disconnected. Host disable participant screen sharing. No. Probably screen sharing has been disabled for me. Okay, to answer your question, what will happen is if you use CloudWatch, which is an AWS monitoring tool, you need to
Yeah.
pay some extra amount. The billing will be higher because it won't give AWS won't give you anything free. Install CloudWatch and you're using CloudWatch alarms and all, it will charge you more. But whereas the same thing, if you use some third-party tools like Datadog, like Site 24/7, it will get the licenses for a very cheap cost.
Okay.
That's why we'll move to. So initially in my project also, we used to have a CloudWatch agents. Then as part of cost savings, we have removed all the CloudWatch agents and we have installed the Site 24/7 agents. We have bought some licenses and we started using Site 24/7.
No.
Okay. So, let me utilize the last 15 minutes. So I'll tell you, guys, apart from the experienced people, there are some new people, right? Gayatri, Vidyasai, Darshan. So Gayatri, what is your understanding on EC2? Like you recently have had this session, right, with Srikanth sir. What is your understanding on EC2? Why we need to have a server?
Yeah, to deploy anything, any application, we need that.
Yes.
Is what
So,
I.
Imran Wasim, yeah, I'll just answer your question. That's right, Gayatri. So Imran Wasim, so you know about Windows servers and Citrix, VMware Citrix servers, right? Why they are being used,
Yeah.
how to use some Linux
Yeah.
commands. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll just touch some basics of why should be having a server and all. So your next session will be a bit easy. Okay. So basically, if you will be, so what I'll explain you the flow. So basically, when in every software company, we'll be having certain kinds of teams, which is called developer team, which is testing team, DevOps team, and all. So what does the developer teams do? They will write the code for particular application. Suppose if I say for Facebook, what they will do, they write the application either in Python, Java. They'll be having their own coding language. Okay, once after the writing the code, they need to put it somewhere, right, in order to get it displayed as a Facebook. Like once you open Facebook, you'll be having a profile picture and all. You'll be having to write the story on the walls and all. So simply by having the code in your hand, it doesn't give you all the options. So it should be hosted. It should be placed in any web server kind of thing. Got it? Unless until you host this code in a particular server, you won't be able to having this access. You won't be able to visualize the code. So now, in order to the basic, in order to put your code in a server, we need the infrastructure called EC2 or any Linux server or Windows machines. Now, this developer, once he writes the code, first thing is the code language is not understandable to any computer. Okay, because the computer knows only the binary language like zeros and ones. Now we will be building this code to zeros and ones internally. Then we'll take this, we'll call it a jar file or war file. Jar file means JR means Java application. Some archive, some I don't know the exact meaning of jar file. So we'll take these files and put it in a web server, and then once you host this code in a web server, then you will be able to visualize this application. However you are using this Zoom and all, everything is a code based only. That is the reason why even if you now I'll talk, if I said server, right? It can be any kind of server. It can be your laptop also. And it can be your in AWS you'll call it EC2. In Citrix you'll call it VMware or Citrix, like we call it VMware Citrix. Anything, the main thing they do is that they'll be giving a server. So you got the basic understanding, right? Then once you get the server, then you'll go to the monitoring because you don't want to get the downtime for this particular server. Then slowly one by one, one by one topic will be adding to this particular chain. Because once you wrote the code, then the tester will test the code, then DevOps person will be hosting the code in a server. Then after that, this automation parts come in. Because now whatever code which this developer is giving, you are manually running some commands and converting it into computer readable language, binary language. Then you are putting it in your server, because it's a very long process. Now what you will do, you'll try to automate this thing. So whenever this developer gives the code, you'll be putting it in something called GitHub, which is called repository GitHub. You'll be listening to all this terminology in the future. We'll put the code in GitHub. Once the new code comes to GitHub, it will automatically come and deploy to a server. This is called automation. In this, to achieve all these things, we'll be using something called CI/CD pipelines, where this Jenkins part comes in. So this is a complete high-level overflow of like how the application gets deployed to a particular servers by using automation and all. If you go deep down, then we'll get Docker images, containers, Kubernetes to orchestrate all these containers and all. So hope I gave you at least some kind of information which is helpful for the newcomers, right?
Yeah.
So not only for the newcomers, you have given the good knowledge for everyone.
Yeah, thank you. So this way, like you start with a small piece, then you try to attach all the pieces to the main block, so it will be like a good learning for you. That's what I personally recommend for you guys. Now, first thing is understand what is your server basically. So so you don't go about server also. Like if you're using a laptop, then try to understand what does your laptop contains. Like your laptop contains 8 CPU. What does the CPU do? If your laptop contains RAM, memory, disk, just try to understand like all these physical components first. Then if you're connecting to a network, right, you will be connecting to Wi-Fi, right? Then now you ask yourself, what is Wi-Fi? How is this network connecting to your server? Then at least you will learn some new concepts, right? If you're learning about Wi-Fi, networking part will be covered. So what is IP address? What is CIDR block? These parts will come in. And then while learning about AWS, then all things will be very useful for you. So basically, when when you learned about heard about EC2, EC2 nothing but the same machine which is in front of you, but it is hosted somewhere else in a Amazon data center.
Okay.
The same CPU, RAM, the one which you are able to touch, right? But the virtual machine you're not able to touch. But if you go to data center, you can able to see that what do you say, in the racks you can able to see that particular servers also.
Servers.
Yeah. The main thing which in a simple format I can say, the laptop which I'm using is 8 CPU and some X amount of RAM, right? In virtualization, what we'll do, they will be having 100, 200 CPUs and some thousands of memory. So when you initiate an EC2 instance, they'll be a part of this CPU and memory to you. So if you assume the whole data center as your house basically. So when you ask for one room, they'll give only one room to you. When you ask for two rooms, they'll give two rooms to you with certain customized configuration. If you ask for T2.micro, they'll give very small portion of that particular room. Understood, right? You just try to visualize all these things so that you will be having a better. Then after getting this room, you need to name your room, right? Saying like this is this room, hall, kitchen, or this is my room, personal room, and all. So that naming is called IPs. Unless until you have that name, you can't. You will be confused. If there are 10 identical rooms, how can you enter like which room you want to go? That's why we'll be having something called IPs. 10.0.1.1. Okay, this 10.0.1, I'll speak to this room. That's how the IPs come into place. From where these IPs come into place, that once you see like what is CIDR or like how the subnetting is happened, it will be very interesting. Like once you dig into each and every small concept, it will be very easy for you also. Then you're naming it. Then once you name it, if you go inside it, you need to have some furniture or something like this, right? You need to have a TV unit, you need to have a sofa, bed, and all, right? So that is where you will be installing the things. That means like you'll be having M repository or any what it depends upon the Linux flavor. You will be installing. Suppose you need a Python to run an application, you will install Python. Whatever is necessary, we'll be using some commands. We'll be installing that particular required dependencies in your server. This is one concept. Now your EC2 concept is done. Now suppose I'll tell you, you have 10 rooms and these 10 rooms should be having intercommunication. Like whatever happens in room 1, it should be knowing to the room 10. Or suppose if I get a piece of a box of food in my room 1, this box of food should be shared to room 10 also. So that I'll be having access from room 1 to room 10. So this is where the security groups come into place in an AWS, where you will be allowing, you will be like giving ID card to them saying, okay, boss, I'm from room 10. Can I come into your room? It's called security group rules and all. So this will be like if you go to each and every concept like this by visualizing like in your own way. So these AWS will become very easy. So for that, my advice is something like just go to the basics, very basics. Like understand your computer first, then you can think about the virtualization field. Got it, right?
I have a simple one query. Like it's my personal experience which I had.
Mm-hmm.
Like I work for the Ministry of Health, Saudi Arabia.
Sorry, Minister of Health.
I work for the Ministry of Health, Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Like I work on HIS, Hospital Information Systems.
Mm-hmm.
So they have application on the cloud.
They have infrastructure on cloud. Okay.
Yeah, the HIS application is on cloud.
Okay.
So it used to be happen sometimes. We are having two ISP providers. Like one is STC, and another is Mobile.
Okay.
So we are dependent on the Mobile is a cloud provider for us,
Mm-hmm.
and STC is an internet provider.
Okay.
So sometimes what used to happen, there will be because of something, the internet is not working in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So internet cut off. Even though we are able to access this cloud application.
Okay. Yeah. So you have two ISPs, right? One ISP is done means obviously we'll be having the other ISP up.
Yeah, but it's only cloud, not internet.
Mm-hmm. It's only
Cloud. Yeah, that's an intranet. I can say it as an intranet.
okay.
So, see, you got my point. Actually, we have two ISP providers.
Okay.
One ISP provider is used for the internet,
Okay.
and another ISP provider, mobile, it is only for the cloud. That means to access the application. HIS application.
Okay.
So when there is no internet facility, if there is a cutoff of internet,
Okay.
at that time we used to access that application, HIS application from the cloud.
Yes, because there's already one ISP connectivity is there, right? See, I can tell you, I'll explain you in different example. So you're saying there's two
And,
routes to
yeah,
your
my
home.
question, no, I didn't complete the question here. Because the question is that if we are having like a, we created one cloud in South region, Mumbai, one instance,
Okay.
and then we are having some zones.
Yes.
We kept one of our server in one particular zone.
Okay.
So if there is loss of connectivity between the south, which we created an instance,
Mm-hmm.
and that there is a connectivity uh, between us and the zones, so we are able to access that application or not.
You like how does it like see connectivity to AWS is nothing but connectivity from your ISP to AWS. Suppose if I use my VPN, suppose if my VPN is down, obviously I won't be able to access my AWS resources. Though I was
Yeah,
having a what do you say strong internet connection, but if my VPN it is configured to connect to right VPN what a VPN is, it's a private
yeah,
tunnels to access my AWS console. If that VPN connectivity is down, even though I have a strong internet connectivity, I won't be able to access my AWS resources, and it's vice versa. And if you're there in their particular office where you don't need to access the VPN, only office network is enough to access the resources. Then there is no need for your internet connection, no need for your VPN. Simply by sitting in your office network, you can directly access your application. It's a see. You need to have a complete. You can give me the question. I can properly give you the answer.
yeah.
If they
No,
are
actually, the question is that uh, we have created one instance in Mumbai South zone. Sorry, in a region, in South region in Mumbai, we have created one EC2,
okay.
and we have kept two more servers in the zones.
Zones means like which zone?
Like in the South Mumbai zone only. Each region will have four zones, right?
Not particularly. So okay, if we want to put in any other US East one or something somewhere like that, right? Okay, you are asking about like okay, understood. You are
Private.
go ahead, Imran.
Yeah, like our EC2 server is in South region Mumbai,
Yes,
and we are having our database server or something in the Mumbai zone,
yes, another zone. Okay.
another zone. If we lost our internet, why? Because AWS is completely depends on the internet,
Okay.
and we lost the connectivity. We are not able to access EC2, which is in the Mumbai region.
Okay.
Can we access the zones?
Yeah, no. See, if you're
Yeah.
not able to access your AWS itself, how can you access the zones? Zones also, I mean, the entire
And
thing.
Yeah,
you said
like
that,
previously there used to be some connectivity through wires, but now it is completely depend on AWS. If the
my
zones are near, you can connect through wires like
No,
plug in
Gayatri.
and plug
My
in.
question is, see, in order to access any of your EC2 servers, if your connectivity is not there to AWS,
yeah,
then how can you access your AWS console from your laptop in the first place? Because that means you don't have any. Your question is like, mm, first of all,
no, see, yeah, yeah, no, no. Actually, I too had this doubt from many years. I worked on that project, but I was stuck at something. Like we have microwave on our MH. We used to have
okay.
microwave. So
Mm-hmm.
that microwave is connected to the mobile microwave somewhere else. The mobile microwave is somewhere else. It's more than 200 kilometers or 100 kilometers away from our location, office location.
Mm-hmm.
So what is to happen? We used to use like in Saudi Arabia, we are having everything is online. Even the
Okay.
private, all the government hospitals are centralized.
Okay.
So when the patient will go to some, for example, the patient is in called Al Bukhariya. This is one city.
Mm-hmm.
So the patient will come and he will give his ID card and everything, and what the diagnosis reports will come. These receptionists or the doctors, they need to insert all the data,
Okay.
and that data is to be stored in the cloud, in the HIS.
Okay, understood. Okay. Then?
Yeah, HIS. And then if this patient is going to some other place,
Okay.
like 100 kilometers away or 1,000 kilometers away, and he got ill, so he will go to the hospital, and the doctors are able to see all his information by using this cloud application.
Okay.
Okay, this is the scenario why they implemented HIS for the centralized.
Yes.
Okay, and then what happened? Like if there is no internet, also if there is no internet for us for the hospital,
Okay.
even the cloud is able to access HIS.
Okay.
So this how it happened. As my understanding, I am feeling like that. What I thought of, these guys as having intranet connectivity, like they use these microwaves. As you told that,
No need to. Yeah, no need to
no,
see
no.
the.
As you told before that, when creating of users, I asked you the question that we have to create the user in AWS or in the local. You said that no need, just we have to give, we have to create in a this operating system one user, and we have to give the permission for that to access it, the
Yes.
public or something like that.
See, the application can run. I mean, you're able to. The one thing which is if there is no connectivity, you can still
Yeah,
able to data from local. I mean, local to your application, cloud application. If it is having an internal connectivity, like internet, whatever private link will be there, right? If it is there, it will definitely you can access the application which is hosted in cloud. So there will be one kind of site-to-site VPN will be established for it, where ASP will be one ISP, one line will be completely dedicated to that particular application. Okay.
yeah, that,
So
yeah,
though your internal internet is connectivity is down, this cellular VPN will be there, right? It will try to
yeah,
push the
will be there. Yeah.
use
So
this.
there is no use of internet if your if our
No, it's
application is.
no. It depends again. See, sometimes what happen is like if there is no data, also they will do this cache data. I mean, they will be pushing the data. But once the server is up, when the cloud is active, the data will be pushed to the cloud. At least suppose if you're filling the details, patient details, one backend database will be there, right? One backend it will push the data backend database, and every 1 day or every 1 hour, maybe it will be syncing with the database, and it will be pushing the data to that particular cloud data. It might be in real time, point in time syncing, or it might be like every 15 minutes it should get the.
Yeah, 15 minutes it will get synced.
Yes, this might be a reason. See, for this 15 minutes the application will be there, and the data will all it collects all the data, but after 15 minutes only it gets synced to the cloud. By that time, depends upon the internet connectivity and all, it might be.
అది ఒక్కొక్కసారి ఏం లేదంటే యాక్చువల్గా ఒకవేళ మనకు క్లౌడ్ కనెక్టివిటీ వెళ్ళిపోయినా ఈ ఒక్కొక్కసారి డిస్కనెక్ట్ అయిపోయేది క్లౌడ్ కూడా. అయితే మన దగ్గర ఒక బ్యాకప్ సర్వర్ ఉండేది. ఆ సర్వర్ ఏం చేసేదంటే ఇట్ జస్ట్ గివ్ సమ్ ఇన్పేషెంట్ డేటా. ఎవరైతే పేషెంట్స్ ఉన్నారో ఇన్పేషెంట్ వాళ్ళ డేటాని మనం యాక్సెస్ చేయవచ్చు ఎట్ దట్ పాయింట్.
Yes, yes, that is called disaster recovery mode. So whenever you won't be able to access your live servers, we'll be having something called as immediate backup data. This is called DR, disaster recovery, because we don't need to the business to halt for some time because of your network issues, right? We'll be having
Yeah.
a backup. We call as a cloud front cache services. There's so many things which we can use there. That's how we can manage. Okay. So I think we are almost 8:40 now. Any other questions? Hope is a good interactive session for everyone. We got at least 1% of knowledge from my side, like what is monitoring, what is EC2.
It's appreciable whatever you have taught us. It's really
Yes.
great.
Thank you. So let's wind up the session.
And I apologize if I asked you something which is irritate you. Sorry for that.
No, that's all right. The more questions, the more knowledge. That's it. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm winding up the session. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Nikhil.
Thank you. Hello, Srikant sir.